Good morning. I've got my green shirt on today, which I just love it. It just gets me thinking about what's going on up in here and how do I mentally get myself through the recovery I had from the surgery I had now 2 weeks ago, and how do I maintain my mental focus and my mental functions. And so one of the things I do is get lots of mail with different newsletters. And I enjoy, as I'm resting and recovering and doing what the surgeon tells me I should be doing, I get the opportunity of either sitting or lying in bed, and I get to read these phenomenal newsletters. And I get the November newsletter in my mail yesterday, and in my morning of reading the newspaper and watching a little bit of news, this comes up onto my pile, and I am just loving it. It's the November issue of the Massachusetts General Hospital of Mind, Mood, and Memory. And this particular issue is just loaded. I mean, is there an optimal diet for better brain health? What do the vaccines do that may help Alzheimer's? Overcoming a depressive episode and how to remain positive. Sleeping on it gets you better moods and memories. I mean, it just went on, and then I get into page 6, and I hit the giant jackpot, which I thought was just an article chock full of really, really terrific stuff, but making some really significant points. And what is the article? Everyday activities, so something you do every day, can give your memory and thinking skills a boost. So now it's like looking at this, not like you have to practice for memory skills or mnemonics, or I'm practicing for the USA Memory Championship, or I'm going to take an hour of the day out and do crossword puzzles or Sudokus or brain tests or challenges and things. But activities that you just include within your day. So they're very much like the thinking people have. One of the things I'm doing is I'm taking steps, right? 8,000, 10,000 steps all day long. Well, hopefully you're not just focusing, well, I'm going to go do 10,000 steps and then go live the rest of my day, but that you're actually counting steps throughout the day. I see lots of people with the pet counters, and they're going to count their steps throughout the day and get to 8,000 or 10 or whatever. And they know by the end of the day how many steps they've got. Well, in that same regard, rather than treat memory skills or memory impacts, the things that have an impact on your thinking and on your memories, how about just finding things that you do within the day that you may already be doing within the day that just help you to boost your memory? And as long as we stay active in doing these, so the point of the article, there are activities that we can do throughout the day that help boost your thinking and memory skills. And what the important thing about this is, are they asking you to utilize what you have up in here? So this is that use it or lose it thing. Do you watch TV programs that are historical or scientific or challenging you to at least reflect on what's on the TV? Meaning, you're not watching the TV for those periods where you're just looking for a break and you want to give your brain a rest, and therefore they're not very challenging. So you just watch it, versus TV programs that are maybe on the Science Channel, or maybe reflecting on things that you've seen in the past that generate some thinking, that cause your brain to engage. So the important thing is, are you engaging your thinking? Might you be engaging your memories? So I often watch the porn stars. That's PAWN, porn stars, and they go to these different things that people bring into their store that bring back memories of things that you see people bring in and wonder, gee, did I ever have one of those? Did I throw that away? Or what were my memories that brought me back? So you're engaging your thinking skills as you go along. The Pickers, when I watch that show and they travel in different parts of the country, I'm engaged in the different farms or the backcountry roads that they go on, and finding these big barns or storage facilities where they just check in and collect things that I can remember back to when I was younger and seeing them with my mom or dad. It's engaging my brain. So there are shows that I watch on TV that are engaging my mind, engaging my thinking, which helps your brain to stay active. And so, are you learning something from these shows that you're watching? Is there something that intrigues you to have a conversation with someone about it? I find it very interesting in very bad times right now, and some of the defense people that are on television talking about what's going on in Israel and the Gaza Strip right now. But what I find more interesting to me is not the news reporting of it, but some of the people that talk about the creativity and the strategies in terms of what needs to happen, and the creativity of the soldiers, and the creativity in some cases of the terrorists. But my point, and maybe it's a bad example, is the creativity of the mind is limitless. We do not have an amount of a fixed amount of creativity that we can have. And all of these activities can help you to boost your memory and your thinking skills if we just make them as a part of how we go about daily life. The brain is responsible for everything we do, and that was one of the points of the article. Can get you to step back and think and reflect on our brain is engaged all day long. I always remember asking a high school student in Hershey, Pennsylvania during one of our annual championships, when do we use our brain? And a young man in the front row, I got up, he's a high school student, and raised, Mr. Datino, is that a trick question? And I said, no, it is not a trick question. It's a serious one for people to reflect and think about, when do we use our brain? And his answer was, I use it all day long. I use it when I get up, and what subjects and what tests, and what do I need to put on, and what classes do I have to go to, and do I have appointments that I need to make? And I said, exactly. I said, we use our memories and our brain all day long. Which then asks the question is, well, when have you learned, and have you ever been taught, how your memories and how your brain works? At which a teacher in the back of the room says, we don't teach that. And I say, gee, isn't this kind of goofy that there's something we use all day long, and we haven't learned much about it in terms of how to keep it strong. We learn all about our muscles, and we see people in the gyms all the time, but where do we go for mental gyms? What are we doing for mental facilities and help? We worry about dementia and Alzheimer's and cognitive impairments. Where are we going to help build that muscle, that which is up here, which we use all day long? It just doesn't make sense to me. So the brain is stimulated by different activities, and they say, okay, we step back and take a side, other than crosswords, and sometimes reading is a very, very good thing for our brain. But what are we doing to stay actively involved and engaging our brain throughout the day? Are we doing things that require us to plan? Meaning we have to step back and we have to plan. We have to step back and think about, what are some of the things I got to accomplish? What are there? What do I got to think through? What do I need to go buy in the grocery store? Do I have errands I have to run? Do I have to think about what's my best route to go there? Or we just go in robot control, we get in the car, and the car just automatically, driverless takes us there, meaning mindless, takes us to wherever we're going. Do we stop and think about doing some gardening, okay, and growing some plants? You don't need to have a house and a garden with. Or there's some plants that we can go by. We're finding more and more about nature and being in nature of some sort, even to the point of paintings and or plants inside of a house can make a difference. Do you step back and think about, gee, how do I nurture this plant? How do I get this flower to grow? What can I learn about? And maybe I start with a package of seeds. I always like sometimes these charitable organizations send me packages of seeds. I'll always send them money back. Don't publicize that. But why? Because it's seeds, right? And I love to watch planting seeds in a little pot of dirt and watch what comes up. And I love it when it has a flower on it. I just feel so inspired by it. And I'm always wondering, talking to a neighbor, how do you get that plant to live? She's just got a green thumb and she's amazing. So I'm constantly learning how to plant flowers that are going to grow and flowers that will bloom, plants that will stay alive in color. I've gotten engaged in the last several months with growing some plants, coleuses. And I love the red leaves and some with the green leaves that are on the end of them. And it's fabulous. And it's taken a heart and an interest. So are we learning new crafts? Maybe we want to learn how to do paint by numbers. Maybe we want to do model building of some sort. Maybe we want to learn how to knit something that we may make on our own. I mean, there are so many different things that we can learn. So that's one of the things that's important to us is how do we learn new things? How do we then use our life experiences to create variation to that and add it to our database up in here, which has got this unlimited capacity to it? And then how do we make sure we're being challenged enough to where it engages our thinking, which then helps us to pull back on prior life experiences that deploy our memories. And if we can package that all together, we've got something we can bake into our daily lives and step back and reflect on. So today, what am I doing that's engaging my brain to think? What am I doing today that engages my brain to go back to a memory and reflect on memories of past and memories that I want to build going into the future? Where have I stepped back and looked at something I've always done in the same fashion and create maybe a new drive, a new pathway to the store? Maybe I decide to walk a mile today and take a different walking trail or path. Maybe I go into a nature trail and go look and see what's going on there. So what are some things that I can just bake into my day and not just say, well, I'm going to take an hour now for my brain and then an hour for my heart and an hour for doing chores. Why not figure out how to integrate these things into one package and make sure that they're learning and teaching you something? They can challenge you to go back and think and reflect on your experiences and or memories. And maybe you create something new in that whole process that you've never done before, as I have with these plants, and just get excited about watching these plants grow on a week-by-week basis. There's a lot in this issue. I will probably be referring to this issue for the next couple of Live with Tonys. I could go on and on. There's several in here just on everyday activities to give your memory and thinking skills a boost. So I will be coming back to that again on Friday. I will leave this right there by my laptop so I can pick up the next part of this. There's just one short article just loaded with great information on things we can be doing to integrate daily activities into our mental and thinking health. Have a good week. We're halfway through it and getting ready for another weekend of football.